pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval, I will now open up the Jobs Development Authority meeting. And the first item will be the approval of the minutes of July 7th, 2025.
Motion to approve the minutes of July 7th, 2025.
Commissioner Pierce,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? There's no further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4, flex pace interest buy down of Joyful Beginnings. And Brady, please come forward.
Yes. So tonight I have Margie Brzezinski from Joyful Beginnings Child Care Center here, currently located in the old Southgate Fitness Center. They've been there for the last few years, and right now they're working on an expansion project. So the expansion project has to do with the 2,400 square foot building that's going to be located directly behind their existing child care facility. So they have been approved to participate in the FlexPace interest buy-down program with the Bank of North Dakota, and of course, a lead bank to help with that. They're just asking for Devils Lake and the Devils Lake JDA to be the community partner in that. You'll see in your packets that I've attached some specs for reference, but I would like to give Margie a chance to come up here and introduce herself and kind of give an overview of the project and what all entails.
Okay. If you would, please just identify yourself for the record. Yes. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Margie Brzezinski. I'm the owner of Joyful Beginnings Childcare in town. We opened in 2021 in Bethel Church, just for a little bit of background. We started with about 35 kids, and we now are licensed in our own facility, which is the previous Southgate building, for about 90 kids. The new facility that is being built in the back of our lot is the opportunity to have about 30 more licensed spots. So it's significant for the area. We've always been short on childcare, so this kind of helps fill that need, especially for those kids that are in school. So this would specifically be for school-age children after school, and then summer care in the summer when school is not in session. And then we're also open on early out. So when the school is closed at 1:30 or whatever, we are open at that time so that parents have the option of having childcare when school is not in session. So any questions?
Any questions?
No, we've already.
Yeah, we've heard the spiel and
Okay.
we're excited that you're expanding. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a definite need for daycare and
Yep.
we appreciate you investing in it, doing what you can to help out. So is Commissioner Kanowski, got any questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. If not,
I'll make a
okay.
motion to approve the FlexPace interest buy down for Joyful Beginnings.
Commissioner Hatch,
I'll second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Item 5 is the 2025 Mobile Career Exploration Classroom Sponsorship. Is Brady, or is it
Just
some?
Mayor Mo, members of the authority, this is something that the city, I think, is already committed to long-term. I'm just getting formal approval as I'm trying to seek down the minutes where the full 3-year authorization was given. But this is just the last installment of things that we've been talking about. long-term. So,
And then this last payment for the 3 years, if they needed more, they'd have to come back.
well, so they did present to you guys at the last JDA meeting for the continuation of the 2 following years, so in 2026 and 2027. So we're still waiting on getting the definition of who all the participating counties are, but we have obligated funds for that, which we'll talk about in the budget on item 7.
So Commissioner.
I'll make a motion to approve the release of the funds for the final match.
Commissioner Pierce,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? Not, roll call.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried. Item 6, JDA 2026 budget review.
This is just included as we're getting the budget season going, showing you the JDA budget as it stands. Yes, there's a use of cash reserves with this. It kind of goes in tune with the other levies that involve property taxes. We're going to have a conversation later at a future budget meeting on the cemetery, and we shifted some of the increase in dollar amount over to from the cemetery over here, and so slowly getting back to net zero on this as we had cash reserves here, had a desire to limit the property tax levy at the last budget cycle, and this was identified as an area. So then just shifting some things around, and we'll talk about that in conjunction with the cemetery later on at a future meeting. I think in all of these, you'll see all these other budget presentations in the city commission meeting, like for Devils Lake, Heritage Center, Public Library, Regional Airport. As I had told you guys, with the property taxes, with the 3% cap, it's new growth plus 3%. And so just as kind of a conservative estimate, I just said, as a starting point from the city, that 3% above what we had last year. And then as a start, we have to start somewhere. So that's kind of the initial volley of what everybody worked with. And then if it's down or up, that's for discussion for you guys. So with that, that's all for the JDA budget. And then I'll wait to the next item there.
So we need to motion to approve that.
No, just I think it's informational.
Just informational. Okay. Item 7, the Growth Fund 2026 budget review as well.
Just inputted the projections of what we have for loans this year or for next year as far as the revenue goes and the sales tax as well. So 41,000 principal payments on loans. We have a couple more that are going to start their amortization. And then really on the interest buy down for the PACE is $70,000 projected. That's as far as expenses, that's a little high in case we have a new loan come that's going to go. And we need to get definitive amortization schedules for a couple projects still from the participating banks. Facade loan pool, that's been a popular pool that's been used. So we put a little extra on there at 30,000. I think we've already had 2 this year that have even gone over the 20,000 total. So put 30 in there for next year. And then the RWIP, you'll notice we put it to 31,000. That's if neither Ramsey County or Willette County participated to keep that program going. But I think I know Ramsey County is talking about that right now, and I believe, don't quote me, but I believe Wolford had committed some funds. So that 31 won't be 31. We will lower it later once we get the definitive details later.
Hey, Joe,
I think it might be Maddie's on the line.
Maddie, whoever's phone's not on mute, could you please mute it? Thank you.
And then the rest is standard. So that's what I have for the growth fund. Were you, Mayor, any questions?
Okay, not any questions of the commission? Okay, thank you. Well, with that, there's no further business under the Job Development Authority. Brady, have you got any last minute things you want to bring up? Right? Okay. If not, we will close the Jobs Development Authority meeting, and I will call to order the Devils Lake City Commission meeting. And the first item will be approval of the minutes of July 7th, 2025.
Make the motion to approve the minutes of July 7th, 2025.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Hatch. Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This time, there's nothing under awards and proclamations. We have a public hearing for the Devils Lake Renaissance, Renaissance Zone Program, and I will call on Rob.
So just going to be a public hearing as we are doing an application for a 10-year renewal of our Renaissance Zone program. We've had the Renaissance Zone program for the last 20 years, and it's due for renewal now. There is included in your packet a revised development plan, which we will also address later on in the commission in the meeting as far as approval. I'll go through it real quick, just a couple of the key things that are going to be changes within that development plan as part of the hearing. And so the first thing is on the block count. So we currently have 42 blocks in our Renaissance Zone program. The current cap that we have is 38.5. The reason that we exceed the cap is that the formula used to determine the cap changed to where it used to include any nonprofit businesses that were owned. If there was a block containing a nonprofit business, you could add an extra half block to your cap. And they changed that to where it's only government owned now. So with that change, we had fewer blocks, so our cap would actually be reduced. We don't have any requirements to come under that cap. We can stay at 42, but we can't add any blocks to it or make any changes to the blocks until we get back underneath that cap. And really with the program, there's no intentions or needs to really change or move any of the blocks. So they'll stay pretty static with where they're at. I would expect that even over the course of the next 10 years, that conversation will come up as far as needing to make any adjustments to the caps for the blocks. Another section in there is going to be benchmarking, which is on pages 13 and 15. Really going to try and do a better job of collecting data and showing the value of the program, not only in what it does for generating additional value of the properties, but as far as in tax revenues and what the benefits are for the recipients of the program. So right now, when we look at the 25 program projects that we've had completed, the average time to recover the exempted taxes is about, it's going to be 4.39 years. That's how long it takes for the exempted taxes to be recovered in the increased value that's provided by the project. Commercial properties are the ones that we see the most of as far as projects, and the average recovery time for those is 2.3 years. So some of that can be skewed a little bit when you have new construction where you have a project that's built on a vacant lot. You're going to have zero for a benefit return because you're going to generate benefit from it right away instead of having a recovery period. But we're going to watch and try to collect more data to show how beneficial the program is.
How many individuals have taken advantage of the Renaissance Zone program?
So we've had 25 successfully completed projects in the last 4 years. And that's one of the things with this renewal is we're going to renew our efforts to really reach out and contact every property owner within the zone so that they understand what is available to them and how the program works and what the steps are that they need to take advantage of it.
I was going to ask this for the last 4 years that I've been on the commission, just hearing the word but never hearing any benefit from it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Would you
What
do?
happened there? I had a flash.
Okay.
So yeah, and we currently have three properties that are currently in their exemption period, so they're generating benefits right now. One is due to come off after this year, and I think another one next year, and then the other one's just started. So you think of the movie theater, Black Paws. Those are two that are currently on. They'll be coming off. So they've been out there and been utilized. We do need to do a better job of promoting that.
In talking with Rob, talking with the Renaissance Zone Authority, there was a whole decade, right, or 2010 to today, or even before then, where a lot of the time, money, effort, and capital, both personal and money, went to protecting the town, right? So there wasn't a lot of, at least from the assessing department and whatnot, leaning in forward to the Ren Zone program, really pushing it because they're focused on other things. And so really, we made it intentional. We changed, Rob changed a bunch of things as far as references to plans in 2005 and all that sort of stuff. So we really trying to start with a new, fresh look of eyes and really hit the gas on this contingent upon approval from you guys and subsequently the school board later. But really trying to take a new, fresh look at this. And
I mean, because it's a great program, and to see the beautification of buildings in this town and homes would be amazing to see. Thank you.
For me, there's a lot of downtown property owners here at the commission meetings. So you have questions on the Renaissance Zone, talk to Rob.
And there's one other and this is probably the most significant change within the development plan that we did, is previously it was an all or nothing. If you met the minimum requirements of having a Renaissance Zone program, you got a 5-year 100% property tax exemption for the value of the building. We've changed that now, so there's an actual investment benefit schedule that's included. So depending on the rate of your investment, the level of your investment will determine the length of your benefit. So when you look at the commercial side, and if you have it in front of you, it's going to be on page 21. on the commercial side, you have to have at least a 50% investment of the true and full value in order to qualify. At 50%, you're going to get a benefit for 3 years. And then every 25% of investment above that, it'll go up a year, up to 8 years. So once you get to 175% or more of your true and full value of the building improvement, your tax exemption period will be for 8 years. And when we're looking at that, we're targeting the downtown area, and you look at a lot of the properties downtown already don't have a very high value. And so if you have a $50,000 building down there and you put $50,000 into it, is that really going to get, we would rather see you go $100,000 into it. We wanted to incentivize more investment in it that way. So that's probably the most significant change that we made within the development plan. But again, it's the renewal and the development plan is for a period of 10 years. And this is just the public hearing portion of it. So if anyone has any comments or questions specific to it, we'd be more than welcome to hear those. And then later on down the agenda, we would be looking at approval at that point.
Any questions of it? Public hearing.
Okay. So anybody in the audience that wish to speak to this, since it's a public hearing? Questions concerning it? Benefits?
I have a question. I didn't quite understand exactly what he was talking about. He's talking about if you have an investment.
Can I ask you to stand, Tom? I'm sorry. I appreciate that. And probably the microphone.
That are watching.
And I'm not quite understanding everything. I couldn't hear everything you were saying. Number one.
Yeah, understood.
But what you're saying, if you have a piece of property that's worth $500,000 and you invest $250,000 in it, you're able to have a tax abate. What are you telling me?
Yeah, if you're within the Renaissance zone, within one of the 42 blocks within the Renaissance zone, and you on a commercial property, you have to put in at least 50% investment of the true and full value of it to be eligible for the Renaissance zone. Well, and that's going to be based off of the value that we have set on it currently. Although if there was questions specific to that, like when we were looking at the movie theater, the value we had it set on the movie theater was high, so we lowered it for the qualifications of that program. So we'll take a look at a property and make sure that the value that's set on it is correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Do we have to approve this? Is
Not till later on the agenda. So it would just be closing the public hearing.
okay. If nobody else has anything to say, I close the public hearing on the Renaissance Zone program, and we'll move on to the next item is bid openings, and we don't have anything at this point in time. And now we'll go into visitors and delegations, and the first item will be Kurt Baith of the Lake Region State College, the Booster Club. Welcome, Kurt.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Kirk Baith, president of the Lake Region Boosters. I also have with me Shane Deeseth from Ye Olde Tavern, aka Ladas, who did the bar service at the beer garden we're going to be talking about. I also have Aaron Wood from representing the college today. What I'm here to ask for is an extension of the permits that we requested last year for the beer garden at all hockey games. The events went without a hitch all last year. Give you a little summary of what we did. We were allowed to have a beer garden in the northeast corner of the Burdick Arena. We had a number of donations from local people and local businesses. So we were able to rope off that entire section. We had it totally signed off with must be 21 to enter at your own risk, no alcohol behind this point. We had all of that donated to us. The alcohol and the labor and the logistics of all of it was donated by Ladas. So when you take a look at all of the sponsorships and the actual revenue from the sale of the alcohol and the whole process, the Booster Club netted approximately $10,000, or grossed approximately $10,000. So I'm here to request that we get the same permits for this season with one exception. Last year, we were required to have security at each one of the hockey events. which was approximately $150 to $350 per night, which was a very large expense to us. The reason we're requesting that that be waived, because we did not have one single issue. I talked with the college about it. They are okay, because at the events, we already have a protocol. We have a college administrator at the events. We typically have, at each one of the games this year, we had a booster club member in the actual area that could forward it to the administrator at the event. Then they have a protocol. They deal with it themselves. If not, they forward it to the police department. After that, we talked to the chief. Chief felt very similar to that. He can speak for himself. I'm not going to speak for him. We also talked to Shane, what his bartenders felt. There were no issues at all there. So we are making the same request to extend those permits this year, with the one exception that we are not required to have the security. One thing I skipped is I was at the park board meeting last week, their ordinary meeting, made the same request to them. They approved it unanimously to allow us to have it without security pending approval from the city. That was one caveat they put to it.
Chief?
So that's what I have.
I don't have any
And no
issues.
concerns?
We had no issues last year.
If there's any off-sites right now, you're out of the park or anywhere where they're gonna have alcohol served within the city limits, does a PD have to be there?
No.
So if they don't have one for the Fort Totten Little Theater area,
We do not.
As part of the permits, there's a line, does it require officers? And it's the chief's judgment as to whether or not
Yeah.
the event is going to require officers. Or not.
So, okay. Commissioner Kanowski, you got any concerns?
Well, I always have concerns when we talk with Kurt Davis, but. I think-
Well, we can't hear you. You're coming in, but no. Go ahead, Chief.
No, I guess what it comes down to is, I think if, Chief also is in agreement with the fact that we don't need, that he doesn't think that security is not a necessity there. I'm still not real happy about the scenario, but in that regard, I'm willing to, agree with Kurt for a change.
Okay.
We could always revisit
Yes, we can. Yeah, that's true.
in the moment.
Yeah.
An
If there's been
incident that
issues.
happens, I'm sure Kirk will.
Yeah, the agreement last year was to go year by year in the process.
Yeah, that's.
This year, we had no issues, so we're making adjustments because it was a substantial expense to that. We had a lot of donations, a lot of volunteered time. There were a lot of positives to it, and we spent $150 to $300 an event to pay an officer to stand there and watch the hockey game.
We always said they didn't do much.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that's why the request is being
You
made.
give the fire department grief.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay.
Mayor, if you guys are inclined, I would just request just contingent upon the administrative approval and proper payment of the permits. As we do the paperwork.
All right. What's the wishes of the commission?
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Eulenkamp
One second.
and Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion?
I personally don't think 1 year of it, of the event happening like that is enough to take, enough to make a decision like that. There has to be a record of okay, in my mind, 3, 4, 5 years to be able to say there's not going to be any trouble there. That's just my personal feeling.
We do have that option of revisiting if there is an issue though, so. that-
Can I
that
can I
helps.
respond to that?
Absolutely.
Well, Fort Totten Little Theater has been in the park since COVID, and they've never been required to have security. And that's an open area. It's not confined. You can roam through the entire park. That's a full bar. We just have beer and anything in an aluminum can. We are in a confined area that has at least one, if not two people monitoring the area to make sure there's no minors or anything. So it's very confined. So, my response to that would be it's a little bit of apples and oranges. If we don't need security in a wide open space,
I think they're two separate type of events though.
Can I make a statement?
Yes, go ahead.
I've been doing the annual fire fisherman tournament for the last 23 years. We've always had law enforcement there, and not one time that we ever had an issue.
Because
Not there, not the play, not at the hockey arena. I think it's time that the commission looks at us and says, you guys have proven yourselves. You have done what we've asked. I don't think, you can revisit it later down the road, but right now, I don't think that we've done anything wrong.
Sure. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Pierce,
No.
Commissioner Kanowski,
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulichamp.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2, Forward Devils Lake, the 2026 budget review.
Okay, well, I like to think my budget is pretty plain and simple. When Spencer and I were going over this together, he helped me with a little bit of it, just because I wasn't super familiar with how the process works. So more so for the revenue portion, in terms of the mills that are released by the city of Devils Lake, I just budgeted what was given out last year plus 3%. So I did initially request the release of funds for $53,800. And of course, my expenses, I expensed high, just because looking at Brad's budget in the past, that's what he always did. Expense high, just in case. When things come up, things happen. So I just wanted to be brief about it. If there's any questions you guys have, I'm happy to answer them.
What have the actual expenses been, Spencer, in previous years?
As far as, well,
If
we've
they-
always,
if
the
they go
mills,
high.
I mean, the mill, I don't know the inner working details of Fort Devils Lake budget specifically, but as far as the mills have gone, it's traditionally been, I want to say it was like three mills, or just shy of that. And we cut them last year because of the cash balance reserve that we had. And so, again, it's just 3% above the beyond, again, and not releasing it here, but I think it's just an opportunity for Brady to say, this is what I have done, this is what Forward Devils Lake is looking at going, this is kind of the initial budget request. So, again, it's at 3% beyond the previous years. And this is in partnership with Ramsey County. Ramsey County also does levy certain, and we kind of got to go away from the whole mill thing, right? It's now dollars specifically. So that's kind of one of the things, the 3% cap that we drives home. So again, it goes back to the 3% on the dollar, which will be fewer mills, which is the point.
Okay.
It's just informational.
Yeah,
right?
it's informational.
Yep.
There's no action necessary.
Do you guys have any other questions on it?
Oh, could you actually, the release of the funds for this 2025?
Oh, we do, okay. We need a motion for that.
Make a motion to release the funds.
Commissioner Pierce,
I'll second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp, okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried. Okay. Next item is the Lake Region Heritage Center 2026 budget review. And we have Lisa here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Crosby, and I'm Director of Heritage Center and the Art Center. And as you can see, this year, it's much larger than last year's. If you remember, last year's budget was tiny, tiny, and none of you could see it. So I worked hard to make it much larger. And worked with Spencer and we didn't do the mills, so we did dollars, and I just worked with the 3% higher than what we did last year. So I don't foresee any changes in our budget. And I broke down, lower down, I put the rent reimbursement and additional funds for the $7,500 for the employee that had been put into a couple of years ago. So that is not in the city support amount. That's down lower. So that's broken up lower. But operational, I don't see any differences unless we have something major go on, and I don't think we should. Our facilities have been pretty normal, so.
Okay. Do we have any
Questions?
funds to release in this?
No,
Nothing?
we got it last time, so.
Any questions of the commissioners? It's pretty simple.
I tried to make it more cohesive,
You can see it.
and you can see it.
Thank you.
To be
Yeah.
honest, when she said her budget was bigger, the paper that was on in the print was
Yeah.
bigger, not the numbers.
Okay.
No, it wasn't I wish like the revenue was much larger, but no, the print was much larger.
Well, thanks for doing what you're doing and doing a great job.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Okay, Maddie, are you online? It's number 4, the Lake Region Public Library. And first of all, I want to say I'm glad to hear you're doing okay and everything worked out, but it's an unfortunate situation. So, and I'm guessing
Yes, thank you so much. I am here.
okay. I'm glad that you are. So thank you.
And I'm Daniel Howell. I'm one of the board members
Okay.
for the library. And I'm just here to answer questions if Maddie has a hard time, but if there are any questions, I can do my best to answer them. And Maddie's just here to make sure that I'm not screwing anything up too bad.
It's probably a good deal. Okay, Maddie.
You should have the budget in front of you. Maddie, if you want to go through it, you can, or I can go through it as much as I have in front of me.
Yeah, just really high level. We're not asking for anything different from bills from 2024 or from 2025, excuse me. We're asking for exactly the same amount of mills from both the city and the county. The numbers that I put in were just estimating as if the valuation of a mill were to increase by 3%. Otherwise, everything is plugged in as if we were receiving exactly the same amount, the 5.15 city mills in 2026 that we are receiving in 2025. Numbers change a little bit, obviously, with everything, but otherwise, everything we're in a good period of pretty stable growth, and we're always seeking out those external funding sources. So not thinking that it's going to be too crazy of a year in 2026.
Okay.
And Mayor and members of the commission, obviously they're going through some, Maddie's moving on.
Transition.
There's transition, so we're going to get some more granular, detailed information as far as future salaries for future director, health insurance offerings, all that sort of stuff. So if there's something drastic, differently or changing, we'll make sure to bring it up. Otherwise, we'll include the final updated as an informational later on at a future meeting.
Sounds good. Any questions from anybody else?
Good.
Okay. Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
commissioners. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thanks, Dana.
Okay, item 5 is the Devils Lake Regional Airport, and we have Dominic and Dennis, who's wishing to speak.
So as you might see, the budget, or I guess our revenue has gone up, increased. SkyWest will be paying us more in terminal rent, which is why some of the increases in our budget are in there. I kind of copied off of what last year's budget was because I'm still not fully sure of what our costs are until the end of the year. So next year, more than likely, will be a raise in the budget, but right now it's just status quo.
Anybody got questions? Yep.
Was that the board meeting?
Okay. Anything?
No.
That's real simple. Thank you, Dominic.
You're welcome.
I think it's worth saying, with the shift in like the property taxes and 3%, but at the same time with the terminal rent really going up, and you look at the bottom of the budget, right, and it's a positive, good number,
Mm-hmm.
instead of scratch your head a little bit, negative number, and how we're going to do, right? And so I think as far as from the city standpoint, the airport standpoint, Ramsey County standpoint, it's really good to have an airport authority right now that's in a good financial position for right now, and hopefully the next 5 to 10 years as well. So that's, I would say, a
Great.
positive occurrence over the last 3 years.
Okay.
No more questions? We'll move on to commissioner portfolios. Commissioner Kanowski.
Mike, sewer and water, tell me about it.
I have nothing to report tonight, Commissioner, unless you have questions.
Whoa, what the heck? Okay, great. That's all I got for you, sir.
Well, thank you. We're not done with you yet, though. Commissioner Hatch.
Mike, anything from sanitation?
Nothing on sanitation tonight, Commissioner, and on engineering, we'll be working on some roadways tomorrow. It's going to be a little, our work with our roadway improvement project is going to be a little bit chopped up. We're working with the contractor, working with them on their schedule. And so tomorrow, right now, the plan is to do some mill and overlay work on 7th Avenue Northeast and 2nd Street Northeast, and then we'll be putting pavement down this week. Then I understand the contractor is going to be leaving, and then they'll be back. So we're trying to coordinate with them on exactly what roads we're going to be working on, when we're going to be working on them, including downtown parking lots, downtown alleys. They're supposed to give us a 2-week heads up for that, so we can coordinate dumpsters and work with property owners, joining property owners on that project. So the other work that we're going to be doing, the seal coat work and other roadway improvements, will be later on this summer.
Sounds good.
That's all I have for engineering, unless you have questions, me.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Has there been an update on when those parts are coming in for the College Drive, the crosswalks and streetlights?
No, we did send a email to a contractor on some of the components for the streetlights, traffic signals. But I haven't seen anything back on that. And I haven't heard from the prime contractor. You know, the Department of Transportation is actually spearheading that project for us as far as getting the roadway work itself complete.
Okay.
But the fortunate thing with that project is we're getting a lot of improvement, and our cost share is very small.
Yeah, I get it. People
So
just
it's one
been
of those
asking me
nice
how
things.
long it's going to be, and I just want to give them the answer. We don't know.
It seems like there's been drums out there for a long time and not a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I've heard that more than once.
Rob?
Just got the Renaissance Zone stuff on the agenda for tonight. Other than that, I don't have anything for you.
Okay. Not anything else?
That's it. Good. Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Anything else with streets?
Nothing for streets,
Nothing.
no.
Cemetery roadway, is that completed? Not,
Not completed
Okay.
yet, working with the contractor. That contractor will be doing some work on 14th Avenue in that area as well. We were able to coordinate with the state, federal highway, and the railroad, improve the railroad crossing on 14th Avenue. And that same contractor is working with the railroad to make those improvements. So there's a lot of work that'll be occurring in that area. I can't give you a good time frame yet until we hear more definitive dates from the contractor.
sure.
That's why.
Really?
That's all I got, just the library. Maddie's last day was supposed to be today, but with, what happened, of course, last week, she did extend her final date through this Friday.
Good.
So
Has there been a replacement?
there has been somebody that has been hired, yes. Yeah, and she will start in August.
And who's that? Do you know?
More for Shauna, I don't remember the last name off the top of my head, but
From here or something?
yes.
Oh, okay.
She's moving, or she's not originally from here, but she's
Okay.
relocated here, yes.
Perfect. Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Commissioner Pierce.
Chief Ben.
We had one of our firefighters resign. He's moving on to the state fire marshal's office, so we are hopefully going to be opening up that position here next week. Our new hire, we got him through his preliminary trainings and we got him enrolled in his ARF class. So hopefully in August, we can get him over to Thief River Falls for his live fire training, and then he'll be covering shifts at the airport also. And that's what I got for you.
A couple of things, Mr. Mayor. It was brought up in the last Law Enforcement Center board meeting, dependent on the outcome of the vote tomorrow. If the PD does move out, what are the implications to the joint powers agreement going to be? They want, is
That shouldn't change.
the LEC still going to have a hand in it if the offices aren't there? Will there need to be board members from the city on the board because the decisions aren't going to be made with that, with the city office being there.
My
PD
thoughts,
office.
we're not changing, we're not leaving the board.
The
We're
other
still gonna be
surrounding-
part of the joint
surrounding counties
powers.
have Representation on the
Yes,
board, but
Yeah.
so I just, they wanted.
That shouldn't
just-
change.
Okay, all right. Number two for that, it was brought up, and Spencer's aware of this, the payments, our fees and stuff to the joint powers agreement, he pays them quarterly. But it was pointed out to me as in the joint powers agreement, signed, it says, under duties and responsibilities of members, all members shall undertake and provide the following: pay and contribute its portion of LEC costs as determined by the board within 90 days of the date of an invoice, unless a member disputes the invoice. So how it's been paid quarterly, they would like it to be paid immediately after, within the 90 days when the invoice is received, instead of it being paid quarterly. So that's what I'm bringing forward for you guys to discuss.
So if I can just talk from a cash management perspective, okay? So I did run an Excel spreadsheet, because I think we talked a few months ago about this, right?
Yeah.
We used to pay monthly. That was traditionally how we used to pay. And we're talking $600,000 worth of money, okay? So if you run the math out, just at 4% interest, I want to say it's like $7,000, right? So we talk about like cash
I
management,
know
right?
what you're doing.
Yeah.
I understand it. but-
So if we remit all the funding, which there's not a lot of places where you pay in advance for services that you haven't yet received, right? So,
I get, all I'm saying is if the city wishes to do it the same way, the way it's being done, there's gonna have to be something put forward to the board to try and change the joint powers agreement, because it's signed as this, and they're expecting that to be paid.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I
yeah.
understand what
Yeah.
he's doing, and I get
Mhm.
that. I'm just
Maybe we
making
should-
it clear
so, yeah,
that that's what's gonna have to be done.
yeah. And so like, for example, we talked about the part-time help at the Lake Region Heritage Center, right? $7,500. So like, without raising revenue, again, like just without raising revenue, just cash management, again, can pay for that expense. Right? Is basically what I'm trying to get. Like, there's,
Our agreement's been quarterly.
we have always paid.
So
monthly.
that
But
shouldn't have changed.
it's been a problem. They've been asking about that for the last year and a half that I've been on.
I
So
find it
This goes
unreasonable.
further
I just
back.
find it unreasonable to ask for the full $600,000
I
in
get that, but
January.
if this is the way we would like to do it,
Yeah,
is it, because we've
Well, it's not a
signed,
wise
we've
thing to
signed
do,
a
is it?
joint powers agreement stating it
Correct.
would be done this way.
Yeah.
So the way to get around this is if it
We'll have
needs
to
to be
amend it.
changed, we'll have to amend the joint powers,
Right.
is all I'm trying to say.
yep, well, no problem. I mean,
Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up to you.
Yep.
That needs to be
Okay.
looked at,
Well, maybe.
if that's the way we're gonna continue to do it.
That's-
I mean, I don't work at the LAC, right? I just, if people do, and it's advanced quarterly, not retroactive quarterly, like, so January 1, we pay
The
the first quarter, 3 months in advance.
Correct.
And then April comes, we pay the next 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you look at the LAC's budget, right? And I'm just, like, Ramsey County's like way more than we are. It would be in Ramsey County's interest to pay quarterly versus yearly. And they would have probably over $10,000 in revenue in addition if they just did that,
Mhm.
right? So I think as far as the entities, I think it's a little unreasonable for the LAC to ask for all, like in Ramsey counties, I think it's over $1 million, right? Well over $1 million, plus the city's $600,000, January 1.
I
find
guess
that a little
they could
unreasonable. And I
invest
get what
that
you're
money
talking about.
themselves and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
take the revenue.
Right, and so I think,
I think if a letter is written to the board
Mhm.
explaining this process and how it would benefit the other counties involved, to please look into an amendment to the joint powers.
Right.
So that's just that's what I was trying to make the point.
No,
If they
I
want it this
understand.
way,
but, so Mike, so let's say that they 90 days, right? So I'm just, we want to work together, right? We want to find a consensus,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
If like, it's a better conversation to have.
I Spencer, believe me, I understand what you're saying and everything else. The only point I'm making is this is a legal and binding
Yeah.
document that was signed by the mayor. If we want to change it, and if we want to do it the way
Mhm.
different than what's in here,
We
we
we'll
have to
go back
to
an
amend it. That's all I'm saying. I
I-
understand what you're doing, and ain't an argument on what you're doing. It's just
Mhm.
making the point that this is what we have to do.
I just, yeah,
Do we need a
Um,
motion to make that happen?
No, I think it's just something we can work offline and
Okay,
talk and
all
just
right,
kind of
well,
table it to the next meeting.
Well,
and
it's
come up
our
with
best
something.
interest to keep our money and
Absolutely, it's not,
invest
yep.
it too, so it's.
Also, within the Downtown Safety Task Force, just to give you all of an update of what's going on, and part of this we'll talk about later in the meeting. I didn't think you were coming, so I didn't print you a copy, but I'll give you this one when I'm done. I met the other day with the Civic, the CEO, CFO, and Vice President, which is the Community Violence Intervention Center. They were here for the what was it called? The big providers resource fair. That's right. Okay. What they do is they deliver vital safety and healing services to adults and children experiencing trauma and educate youth on professionals about how to prevent violence and develop healthy relationships. They are a 501c3 nonprofit governed by an 11-person board. And they wanted to meet with me to let them know that they are interested in bringing their services here to Devil's Lake. They're not interested in the size of the Oak Good Sand Building because that's a lot of space. What's holding them back right now is they're $150,000 short in funding to be able to bring all of their services here. They asked what we used to give SAFE, donate to SAFE, and I said I didn't have that number off the top of my head. If we gave SAFE money every year or what we did, so I figured I would just bring it to the attention that we can talk about. I said,
I don't remember last time we give SAFE any money.
yeah, I couldn't remember.
We budget $5,000.
Yeah, I couldn't
We haven't
remember.
remitted yet this year. Probably won't unless things change.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
All I said is I would discuss it and let you guys know. I told them with the changing in the 3% cap, all this stuff, the funding is going to be really tight.
Yeah.
They said they were aware of that and they're running into that everywhere. So I just going to stay in contact with them. They were very, very interested in coming here. So I didn't know what they had conversations with everybody. Chief, they met with you, correct?
Correct.
And they're very interested in bringing their services here. We had our Downtown Safety Task Force meeting held on July 8th. These are some of the things that I was asked to look into from that meeting. I was asked to investigate jobs for homeless or those with a criminal record. I got a hold of the North Dakota Job Service here in town. They said there's usually a box that they can click when they put an app in there that they need a job that says they will help, they will take people with a record. Or she did a search through her system. They showed no listings of anybody in the area that would hire homeless or criminals with a record. But she said that in the past, White House Cafe, Leon's Building Center, and some of the hotels with entry-level jobs would hire them depending on the level of the crime, And also Shane spoke up about Lotta's at the meeting and said that he would hire as well, dependent on the level of crime. Was also asked to, and I'm still going to try and search those things and get some more information on that from different businesses in town. This is just how far I've gotten so far. I was asked to call other communities similar to our population and see what they're doing to keep their crime in downtown safe, to see if there's something they're doing different than what we're doing. So I did call Wapton, Valley City, and Watford City. They're doing basically everything similar to ours, except they're having more walkthroughs, more daily walkthroughs through the businesses downtown. They're actually going into the businesses, making their presence known, and doing more foot patrols than driving around patrols. They said that has helped more, having that presence of just driving through, but being on the ground, going into the businesses and doing that. They also have it's not on your paper that I handed you because I forgot to put it on there, but one city, I can't remember which one, I think it was Wahpeton, that put a curfew at 11 o'clock for anybody under 18 and younger. Anybody that's under 18. They've also put lighting in the alleyways, because I'll bring something up here in a minute that I found. They've put lighting in the alleyways to illuminate them so less problems happen in those alleyways. And I'll explain that in a minute. Also, they're having trouble with business owners down in their downtown areas filing complaints for the fear of retaliation from people downtown that are causing these crimes and stuff like that. So, which is something I found as well throughout. Not a lot of business owners want to file those complaints, which I understand. I would feel the same way. But that's something we might need to ask more of to be able to start getting the proof that this is happening so the PD can actually go and do the investigations. I was asked to call the Fremont about the large number of calls for the first half of 2025, which was 87 total calls made for the first 6 months. They said a lot of those calls weren't from just inside the building. A lot of those were from going on outside in the alleyways, which is why I bring up the lighting. They said because if the report comes in, people are reporting that it's the Fremont, by the Fremont. And when it gets put into the system, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, it'll be put Fremont.
I don't know.
So that's what they said. I also asked them for the ones that do get in trouble inside. If they're charged with something or they get in trouble, they get a violation letter. After 3 violation letters, they are evicted. So that's how they're trying to combat
The Fremont.
I tried to call Metro Plains and ask them what they have done because their numbers dropped significantly, but I got no call
Is
back.
Fremont not part of Metro Plains?
No, they're through a company, California.
They used to be.
They used to be, but they're owned by
Okay,
somebody else.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
They do have the most people living in the facility. Fremont.
Yes.
Okay.
So
40 different.
I never did hear
They're-
back from
They're willing to work with us, or you said you don't know?
who's that?
The Fremont.
Right now I just got the information to pass on, and then I want to sit with the chief and see, how things go here with the next few months, because to see if these violations things work or not, if it starts slowing down, just because I made them aware of what's been going on.
Sure.
I also was asked for a map of the locations of the cameras that the city has. I got a map from Mr. Grafsgaard, and I sent it out. Did you guys receive that? Mr. Thompson? You didn't receive that email I sent you? Okay, I will send it again. I sent an email out with the map locations to everybody that was at the meeting, so. I was also asked about the possibility of no loitering signs downtown or in the alleys. And I don't know what we can do for the no loitering signs, but that's something that we need to just maybe discuss and see where everybody feels and stands on that. So just bringing that to your attention. And then the picnic tables downtown, we'll talk about that at the end of the.
Okay.
That's what's been going. Did I miss anything, guys, from the last meeting? I don't think I did. So I will continue to investigate some of these things and make the phone calls and get more answers, just so you know what's going on so far, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jason.
Yes, go right
Can
ahead.
I add one thing?
Yes.
We were gonna talk about, the LEC, if we could get people out that are incarcerated.
On the work release, and I'm working that.
Program.
Yes, I'm working that right
With
now.
the city and the park board.
Yeah, I didn't have any information to guarantee to fully give you truthfully,
used to
so I
do
was
that.
just holding back on that until I get more information. Thank you.
I used to do it all, yeah.
Yep, that's,
They still do have something.
I don't want to put words out there and then not have the guarantee behind them, so I don't want to get anybody spreading rumors. So
That it?
that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Chief,
I really don't have anything, Mayor, but I did give you a new patch that we are
thank you.
implementing. And I know the fire chief will give you one.
I would assume that maybe I'll see that.
And I have yours here, Lisa.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
You're late, you don't get one.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions at all.
No, I don't. Thanks, Chief. Spencer?
Yeah, Mayor, members of the commission just included the memo 2026 budget timeline and special meetings. July 24th, which is Thursday at noon, and the next Monday at noon as well, July 28th. where we'll go over water, sewer, sanitation, capital improvement plan and rates and fees. And then ideally preliminary approval as soon as August 4th. But really at that time, you just basically have to set the mill levy and you can't reduce or,
Can increase.
yeah, you can't increase. So, but there's still a lot of budget work that can be done between August 4th and 6th, but we kind of just have to have been locked what we're going to do as far as mill levies go. And then included its timeline for special assessment season. That is upon us coming up. So we're going to begin that process. And then obviously election tomorrow. We encourage everybody to come out and vote, get informed. You can get as much information as you could ever want on our website. Polls open 7 to 7 tomorrow. And, really there's investments that the city would like to make, and it's just the proper way and the proper mode of funding those things. And, if the commission really wants to do those things, we can work up plans, but costs are going to be exclusively on city residents. Sales tax. I think we all know the regional economy and the development patterns around here, and what makes sense for Devil's Lake. So we'll see what the citizens think with the vote, and then that'll really inform a lot of things for our conversations for the budget on July 24th and 28th. So that's what I got for you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. Okay, Jason?
I have nothing to report.
Rob, you
Okay.
forgot somebody.
Oh,
I always forget Dominic.
We'll get an alibi here. So
Word.
I do have some.
See what I wrote here? Don't forget
Oh,
Dominic.
okay. Jason, on some of this downtown nuisance stuff and we don't seem to be getting anything anywhere, and it's getting a little annoying. I don't know where we're at. Have we started to find, and it just seems like we're not getting any progress. And I don't know what's the holdup. We hear it's all on the legal side, and if that's the case, what can we do to fix that?
There's a split between properties, and those are the ones that we're actually able to go ahead with hearings on, and those that we weren't. So the ones that we were, Chief Bennett has been in communication with those property owners, and my understanding is things are going well with those particular properties. For the others, it's starting the process over because notice was never given in the first place. And we have at least 2 property owners who live out of state, which is complicating the affecting service upon these people. We have a municipal ordinance that requires service within a window, no less than a certain number of days, no more than a certain number of others. So what needs to be done is first getting a revision to the municipal code, and then starting the process over with the ones that were either not affected service or a property that was sold at some point during the nuisance abatement process. So, you just can't go midstream when change of ownership is made known to you after the fact.
You said you were waiting on some form or something?
Yep. So I believe with the fines and stuff, we have to have that in the forms for proper legal
We do.
reasons, correct?
With the changes that the commission made to the, my assumption, Mr. Mayor, was that you're talking about the blighted structures.
Yes.
Okay, if this is also to just regular nuisances, grass,
Yeah.
garbage.
Not worried about that. I think that's taken care of.
No,
Right.
we're waiting on.
The forum for the
For the
fines.
fining part of it.
Okay.
We're still sending out nuisance letters to the property owners with the grass, garbage, different things like that.
And how are you keeping track of the repeat
I have it all
offenders?
tracked on an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
And then we're using iCrime Fighter with their delivery service that they're doing for us, so.
Okay.
It's all tracked in
Yeah.
2 or 3 different systems, so.
But we still have that church that's a total mess.
Yes.
We've got a couple businesses
The
downtown that,
guy with the church did contact me. He said he's got plans to tear that down this
plans.
summer.
Yeah, okay.
So
Well,
we gotta reach back out to him.
Tell them we need a buy date.
or, I mean, we got to have some action here at some point in time.
You're correct, and I will do everything I can.
Okay.
Part of that particular property, if I'm thinking of this the same one. You have it owned by an entity that does not exist. It has no legal existence. It's an LLC that's not an LLC out of Minnesota. So really, it comes down to talking to the person that holds himself out as the member of the LLC, because the title work wasn't done right. So
What if we just went in and cleaned it up and then put the bill against the property?
we have a couple of problems. One is the title is flawed, so the person could say, no, I don't own it. The other is you're incurring expenses that you might not be able to recoup for that reason, and the other is probably liability if something were to go wrong and someone from the city gets injured. It's been the concern before with a person that says, I don't want it, take it. I don't want the city to inherit a liability.
We already have it, well.
It
Kids
kind of is a
playing there,
liability
people
to us
playing
right
in
now.
there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody here would agree that they drive by a couple places and they're pathetic, and I keep promising we're gonna take care of it. It's not getting done.
Then I will do everything I can to have action by the next meeting.
Can I speak about that church just a little bit? I at one time owned it.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Nobody came when I was, I tried to preach, but nobody came. Not even you. But that baby is built.
It has potential, probably.
And when they tore that roof off and did all that stuff to the roof, they asked for trouble. I mean, it just blew it right down there.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking at all.
Just the reports of people and kids being in there and playing in there,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that's,
I had it all locked up. There was nobody.
that's the biggest worry.
We were trying to figure out some way to.
You should have put the money in the church instead of the garage, though. That's kind of a,
I didn't build a garage.
no, I know. I mean, whoever, I know you didn't, Tom. But anyway, that's just one of them. But we got another one on 8th Avenue in between 1st and 2nd. It's a total disaster. And I'm getting numbers of calls on that. And then there's some downtown that are still an eyesore. So anyway, it's time for action, in my opinion. And my word means nothing so far with the people that we've talked to and said we're going to do something. It's 3 years since I've taken this position. We haven't got anywhere on some of that. Okay, enough on that. Sorry, but appreciate you doing that. And your alibi.
Okay, Dominic, I hope you have something for me.
Not much to report. The only thing I have is that our numbers are looking good. I think I was telling Eric that if you look at what we have this month, it's going to be a big eye opener. Just to give you an example of what happened today, we have a CRJ 200 that comes in, can seat 50 people. We had over 90 people on board today. So
90 on a 50 planet.
Come up, getting off.
Oh, you had two.
Okay. Wait a minute, that doesn't happen.
I was concerned
too. I know what adding is.
Okay, I wasn't sure my math was good.
yeah, for the two flights that we've had today, we'll have over 90 people on board.
I think the direct flights to Denver is.
Yes, that's a huge,
Changed.
that just recently started, and us in Jamestown, our numbers apparently have both gone up enormously.
Wow,
That's good.
that's great to hear. Anybody else have anything last minute? If not, we'll move on. Okay. Nothing under old business. Nothing under consent. We'll go into new business, and first item is interest earning allocations from the Devils Lake Regional Airport. Spencer.
Yeah, Mayor, members of the commission, just, I think the staff report speaks for itself, but I think, as we've talked about, that Devils Lake Regional Airport is a very unique animal, right? So, legally, it's a municipal airport authority. We call it a regional airport authority. We fund it like it's a regional airport authority, but we run it like it's a city department with the money and the checks and salaries and benefits and all that sort of stuff. And so traditionally, as you can see over the course of the years on the attachment, if you take the airport's operations account and you subtract, what they have as far as expenses on their projects and they're awaiting reimbursement from the FAA, the city has always kind of had like a perpetual line of credit, in the hundreds and 200 thousands of dollars. And so you see majority of the year, at the end of the year, they're actually, they used to be a negative cash balance in the city's books. And really the city was helping out, trying to keep the airport going and running. And as you guys saw earlier, much healthier now. And net of assets, if you look at the financial report, so you take the airport's operations account minus its project account, it's sitting at over $1 million now. So I think you remember when at the end of 2023, when they were $6 million drag, we were waiting for reimbursement from the Fed to do the 3% interest. And so then, the airport said, well, we have $1 million now. Could we get the interest earnings as if we were sitting in our own bank account, right? And so at $1 million at 4% interest, that's around 40 grand, if that's the average of what it is. And so really not going to move money like that around without the commission's blessing. And we had a mayor, Commissioner Hash, Chairman Olson was here, airport manager. We had a conversation about how the best use of it. Traditionally, the city, when it comes to those airport projects, has provided the local match on the projects, and they can be the tune to 75,000 or 200. And so I think the compromise between putting in the airport's operations account versus towards their infrastructure accounts, we can keep that money attributed specifically to the airport, but it can be in partnership on that cost share for the infrastructure project. So if you look at a capital improvement plan over the next 6 years, if you take, we'll just say it's $35,000 on average, assuming, interest rates stay the same they are, that very well could change, but you only have the information you have right now, right? $35,000 a year over the next 6 years pretty much makes all the local match 50-50 split between the airport and the city over the next 6 years for their local matches on the projects. So instead of putting in the airport operations account, instead of putting it in the city's general fund like we normally would, to put it specifically towards airport. And it does end, at the end of the day, save the city money, so we don't have to use as much of our sales tax infrastructure dollars for these, but it keeps the interest earnings allocated to airport purposes. Again, talk to the airport authority chairman, airport portfolio holder, airport manager, and feel this is an equitable plan for both the airport and the city. So seeking your approval, and we would like to backdate it to January 1, 2025. And we'll welcome any questions.
Well, it's a win-win for both.
It is. Cool. Dominic,
I
anything?
agree with what Rob was saying. It's a win-win for both.
Perfect. Well, Commissioner Kanowski, have you got any input?
No, I don't have any input at this time about this interest rate allocation.
I just want to make sure you're still awake.
I'm there.
Okay. What's the wishes of the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Hatch,
Second.
Commissioner,
Give it to him.
Commissioner Kanowski, second.
Make him feel like he's useful.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried. Okay, appointment of canvassing board for the July 22nd, 2025 special election.
Again, Mayor Mo, members of the commission need to appoint the canvassing board. First, I guess timing, I thought it was best, you have to have the canvassing board 13 days after the election. There is a city commission meeting on that August 4th, so maybe holding it slightly before the commission meeting at 5 o'clock. I personally won't be here, and so in my stead, I'd ask you, if Rob's available to appoint the city assessor instead of myself, I won't be here. And then commission presidents normally on it, Mr. Mayor, and then 2 commissioners normally. So if there's 2 commissioners that could make a 5 o'clock meeting, we'll take any volunteers, and really just certifying what the election results come from the inspectors and judges of the election board tomorrow.
I do it for the other elections, so I'll do this one as well.
You'll do it? Okay.
What day is that on?
That'll be Monday,
Monday.
August 4th at 5, before the city commission meeting. We need one more commissioner.
Okay, Commissioner Eulenkamp.
So those 3 are
Okay,
there.
Commissioner Pearson, Commissioner Eulenkamp. Okay, do we need to have a motion for
Yeah,
that?
just to appoint.
Okay,
Yeah.
do we make a motion, someone?
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Pierce,
Canvassing board.
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Item 3, approval of the Renaissance Zone Development Plan.
And real quick before, there's one more thing I wanted to add specific to the Renaissance Zone. With our renewal application, we do have to have letters of support from the county and the school board. I got the letter of support from the county last week. I actually received that today. I go in front of the school board on Monday, next Monday, to seek the letter of support from them. I don't anticipate we're going to have any issues there, but they've had concerns previously. So I'll be prepared to answer any questions they have. And we also added a person from the school board onto our Renaissance Zone Authority to help get input from them and hopefully alleviate any of their concerns.
Perfect. Okay. So it's the wishes of the commission. Commissioner Eulenkamp
I'll second that.
and Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4, resolution for renewal of a Renaissance Zone in the city of Devils Lake. 7. Resolution.
Yeah, so this just
Is part of the same thing?
Yeah, we're required to have a resolution from the commission adopting or for the renewal and continuing the program.
Okay.
So a copy of the resolutions in your packet.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Okay. Commissioner Eulenkamp,
Second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? No further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
You got to give him some time.
We're almost done there, Chief. Okay, and item 5. Now this is, we have a lot of visitors for this. Downtown picnic tables. I'm guessing there's a lot of people that wish to speak. Let's just keep.
Can I give it a start? Or do you want
Once,
me to-
yeah, okay. I just like to, when you do, please come to the podium. I want to allow 5 minutes for each of you to speak on the subject. And then we'll, talk about what's some of the best avenues, but I'm not so sure that we'll make any decisions tonight, but we will listen and then, hear what you guys have to say and then make determinations from there. And at this time, I'll give Commissioner Pierce what he wants to
And
say.
Mayor, if you would also return the favor for some of our octogenarians out here, when the commissioners speak, please use your microphones also, because I, for one, find it.
It's very difficult, Don, back there. I'm sorry. We'd like to fix
The
that.
only place worse is probably the cold.
Okay. We totally get it. I mean, I'm sorry for you guys can't hear, but we hope to fix that at some point in time, so.
Use microphones.
Yep. Well, hope you can hear.
I
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner. Thanks.
During the July 8th Downtown Safety Task Force meeting, it was brought up that one of the big problems downtown that the local business owners see is the picnic tables there on 4th and 4th. And he also mentions the picnic tables that are in Firestone Park. Some of the things that I've been told is just the loitering, the drinking at those at times. I've had local residents call me, and like I said, this is hearsay, but this is just letting you know what I've been told. They found, used needles, things of that nature around. I don't know if that's ever been reported, but these are the things I'm being told. So I mentioned to Mr. Thompson and Mr. DSEP that if it's something that they are very passionate about and they want to make their voices heard, to bring as many people as they can that feel the same way, so that they may, and I either for or against, let them come and let them speak there, because it's easier to make a decision off of a group of people than it is 1 or 2 people coming in and making the complaint or the suggestion. So I did receive this attached letter in an email from Todd Thompson, owner of Thompson's Paint and Glass, correct?
What page is that on?
Glass and paint. It's click the
87.
it says to the Honorable Mayor, I can't get everything right now. To the Honorable Mayor Mo and Devils Lake City Commission, downtown business owners are requesting removal of the picnic tables from the downtown public spaces. Main concern, picnic tables contribute to increased loitering, negatively affecting businesses and customers. Each of us has witnessed the negative impact firsthand. Loitering near tables deters potential customers, especially families and older people. The economic health of downtown depends on safety, cleanliness, and accessibility. Customers have reported feeling unsafe due to loitering, resulting in lost business and negative reputation. Thank you for your attention to this matter and for your ongoing commitment to the vitality of our downtown. I just, I'll give my opinion on this after everyone has the chance to speak. Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
I give it back to you. Thank you.
Okay, I guess who wishes to start? Okay, all right.
Todd Thompson, business owner, downtown Devils Lake Glass and Paint. Appreciate all the opportunities. I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. I think when the sidewalk project started, with the downtown area, with the park and putting the picnic tables down there, the benches, it was all good. Everybody had a good vision of it. I think over time, those types of the picnic tables or benches went down the wrong direction. So we have people that we see that are loitering or have a nuisance there or bugging people, yelling at people. It happens. Big thing that we want to address to you guys is there's a problem downtown with, we don't know if it's mental health, if it's drugs, combination of them all. But what we're seeing is if it deters one customer from coming to our businesses, it's too many. And we want you people to understand that. We don't know if the picnic tables is the final answer. We have to address the issue somehow. We keep talking about it, putting lights up, cameras, all that stuff. It's all good. It's all good. But we need, like you said, like the mayor said, we need some action. We need to take our town back. Our downtown is suffering or could suffer down the road. The big thing is we think we got to start somewhere. The picnic tables maybe is a good start, and then we go from there. Across the street from me is Bridgestone Park. Boy, I don't want to tell you the stories I've seen. The chief knows because I call him every time now. And I got problems in my alleyways. I think everybody does.
Can you give examples of what's going on in your alleys?
People coming down, I got cameras back there. I'll give you an example. The front of the store, before Nelly's closed down, 2 to 5 in the morning, 30 or 40 hits. They walk by the front of the store towards the apartments, 5 minutes, they're coming back. In the back is the same way. I got cameras back there, motion activated. It seems like it's at, late night. What are they doing? They all got backpacks on. I don't know what they're doing. But recently there's been a lot of traffic with Nelly's closing down. In back of my buildings, there's some apartments. They come back there. I got young people working at my store. I tell them to call the police if there's a problem. I shouldn't have to walk my employees out to their car. I shouldn't have to do that. It happens. Our big concern is we have to start somewhere. And after the downtown safety meeting, seemed like a good start. At least discussion of where we go from here. Any questions?
At this point, we want to hear everybody out. Thanks, Todd. We may have some. Who would like to be next?
Oh,
Okay.
Jim, you may or may not remember this, but one day you and I talked about something and we didn't necessarily agree.
Oh, no, we may have that again, but that's fine.
But bottom line, that day I walked out and I walked down to the corner of my place down on 4th and 4th, and I had 3 or 4 people down there drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked down the street down in front of Creative Impressions, and I get hit up for money. I walk down the street to the other half a block to Levers, I get hit again. It's a problem. We got lots of people that got nothing to do, And, you know, one of the things that makes it easy is they hang out on them picnic tables. Now, I would love to have those picnic tables there for people to use that legitimately should be, but we have a problem. And it's not going away unless we do something. So plain and simple, I mean, I really think they got to go. Maybe someday we can put them back again, but right now they're a problem. So, and I'm Tom Ruley, I'm sorry. Edward Jones, got business owner, so.
Well, thank you for your concerns. Anyone, next person?
I'll go.
Okay.
So my name is Sarah Erickstead, and I'm here today to represent the Homeless Coalition as the chairman. And so I'm also a part of the Downtown Task Force. And I'm only here to just raise awareness for, I agree with some of the businesses. I understand that there is some concerns for downtown. However, I want to raise awareness that we do have a lot of community members that do live downtown, and those park benches and those picnic tables is their front yard and it is their backyard. So they should be able to use those and not be considered loitering. Another thing that I want to bring awareness to is sometimes there's a lot of conversation about homelessness and our homeless population that is probably downtown. Each year we do what is known as a point in time count, which is also known as a pit count. It is a count of sheltered and unsheltered people experiencing homelessness on a single night in January. Obviously, in the state of North Dakota, our numbers probably aren't going to be that big. It is done by Housing and Urban Development. It is required for the continuum of care to conduct an annual count of people experiencing homelessness who are sheltered in homeless shelters, transitional housing, and safe havens as a signal nationwide on January. Our COC here in North Dakota has also realized that in January, our numbers are probably not going to be that great. So we actually do another count in the summer. I have been a part of those counts since 2023. I did contact our continuum of care just to get the numbers so you guys could be aware of them. So in 2023, our numbers are really high, but I do need to make it known that this is for the region, Region 3. So we do have Turtle Mountain in there. Turtle Mountain was a part of that count. We had 41 people that were sheltered. So that means they were either in a transitional living or they were in a homeless shelter. We had 70 that were unsheltered for a total of 111 people, and that was January. The summer of 2023, we had sheltered 9. I do believe that year we did not have any volunteers to go out and do a summer pit count, so we have 0 unsheltered listed, but there was 9 that were sheltered. The winter of 2024, that is when I took over as the chairman, and we did a benefit, a soup benefit. I believe we actually came to the commission during that time as well, and had it open to anybody who was homeless to be able to come in and have some soup. We had many people from the community being a part of that. And then we went out, and that year or that winter, we had 29 that were sheltered. We were able to count 13 for a total of 42. The summer of 2024, we had 8 that were sheltered. We had 8 that were unsheltered for a total of 16. 2025, we had a total of 26. 23 were sheltered, 3 were unsheltered. And then last Wednesday, we do not have the sheltered number yet, but last Wednesday we did a pit count, and we had 6 volunteers from the community that took part in that. And that was just Devil's Lake numbers, and we had 15. So we had 15 people who are unsheltered. And when we talk about unsheltered, they are actually living on the streets. One of them was a family, and another one was a lady who had a puppy or a dog with her. So it is here. And I guess my awareness that I want to bring to the commission is to also understand that if we remove the park benches, if we remove those picnic tables, it's not going to take away the fact that our community has a homeless population, and we need to look at trying to help them out as well.
May I ask a question?
Yep.
It was on a newscast about a year ago that they were cleaning places around Fargo, and the person they interviewed said, well, that's okay, I go to Devil's Lake. Are we importing people from homeless from other places?
I can't answer that. Do we have people? I used to also work. I don't work as in homeless caseworker anymore. I have a different position. But in my time of doing that from 2022 to fall of 2024, did we have people that came off of the trains? Yes, we had people that would jump off the train, stay here for a while, try to get some assistance, and they jump back on. Do we have people that do come here or import from other towns because they're looking for housing? Yes, we did. Most of the time, we are not able to house them because our wait list for our low income housing is pretty long. So
But
they end
stay
up
here
moving
in
on.
Rome.
They do for a little while. Yep, until they can find funding or they can find something to help get them out of here. So yes, we do have people that do come.
That could be because we're trying to offer more than what we should be. I don't know. I
Nope.
don't take it in the wrong way, please.
Nope, I don't.
But
I understand.
If we have our own problem, we don't
Yep.
need to compound it with
Right.
outside problems.
And we do. There is a housing issue here. We have a lot of people that are on the housing wait list to get low income housing. A lot of our low income housing happens to be downtown. So, that is where most of them are going to be located. And I do know from my experience back when I was working there, I can't speak for it now, the wait lists were quite long. I mean, I remember one time talking to one of the management teams. I think there was 17 people on their waiting list. So, I mean, they are long. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
I will.
Oh. Okay.
Can I just stand right
Shane,
here?
yeah, you can talk loud enough to identify yourself, Shane.
Shane Deeseth, I own Yule Tavern in Lawrence downtown. I think the first thing we need to admit as a city is we do have a problem. Second of all, the downtown benches, I do realize it is somebody's backyard. However, there's not one person in this city that treats our backyard the way ours is being treated on our front streets. So we need to clean that up. I was asked at last meeting, would I hire anybody? Absolutely. And so would anybody else in the downtown that owns a business. We are all looking for employees. Might not be the job that you want, but it will be a job. You will have enough money to eat at noon, and you will have enough money for shelter at 5 p.m. However, you got to get up the next morning and go to work. If you don't want to do that, you're going to have to move on. There's many people in this city that get up every morning and go to work, and they've done it for many years. I think that we need to set a presence right now, get something done, take care of all of the stuff on the street. They're telling people don't go into my business as well. It hurts my income and everybody else that owns a business downtown. So I really think we need to do something right away.
Thank you, Shane. Dan?
I'm up earlier than most people in this room in downtown, and I see more people before 6 in the morning than I ever do on those benches. So I'm afraid that pulling those benches out is just giving us a good feeling that we're doing something. There's a lot of issues, and I don't think homeless in Devil's Lake, you can't be homeless, you can't live in this country. But what you can do is find somebody's apartment or some alley or some hallway to stay in and take your backpack and get out there at 5:30 in the morning and walk past Edward Jones and the Bean and Lada's and Levers and back and forth and back and forth. Maybe stop on one of those benches and sit and visit with somebody else. But I don't know that I wished that taking those benches would help. But when they sold us, when I say they,
The city.
it's who's they, like Grand Forks people who said, well, we did our downtown, which of course Spencer knows we did. And we made this so that it's a good business area, good living areas and so forth. We can do the same thing in Devil's Lake. So they had a vision of putting these benches up. They had a vision that the Spencer Halversons were going to be sitting on those benches not somebody with a backpack and 3 friends. So I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think that just taking the benches out, you know, some of them were probably poorly placed. The one in front of Lefty Nails, who wants to come out of a business right with a bench?
And have the smoking
Put the
going
ones
on at the same time.
Corner, Fourth and Fourth?
Yeah.
You know,
True.
Nellie's is gone. Is our problem gone? No, unfortunately not. Other than the fact that I don't see 5 squad cars every morning, you know, down in that part of town. You know, for a while there, 4th Avenue looked like the Tenderloin district in San Francisco. You know, that we have so many police cars down there, you know, so as I say, I don't know what the solution is, but I do appreciate that you're really taking some time to look at this and just don't jump the gun and say, let's take those benches out. But if we do take them out, put them in storage somewhere so that maybe after a year you can see did it really work or didn't it work? You know, or are we just playing games and thinking that we have the answer? You know, I don't know what we can do with Thompson Park. I never see anybody sitting over there. So Todd, of course, has time to sit.
You're right. Yeah.
No, it's just like in front of Slumberland, they tell my employees, don't park in front of Slumberland, because whenever they don't have a sale, they think it's because somebody's taking that parking place.
That's true.
You know? And so I think that each commissioner should spend at least 1 hour a week sitting on those benches so that good people attract good people.
That's a good point.
Useless people attract useless people. The useless people is just the coined up version of the Peterson version. So who's to say who's useless and who isn't? But, you know, you can say no watering or loitering. Those things are hard to enforce. Maybe no smoking, no vaping. I don't know. Keep exploring things though.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Bubba?
I'm gonna sit quiet.
Oh, well, we got what Jeff's coming up here.
And then
You just wanna know that this problem didn't start just the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you,
I've
Tom.
been here for 62 years.
Yeah.
It's been here for 60 years.
Okay.
I've been here for 50 last.
Okay. Identify yourself.
Jeff Clemensrud, President Clemensrud Plumbing. I'm on the west side of 4th Street downtown. And I do disagree with the benches. I think the downtown merchants, if I owned a bar downtown, I would be frustrated. I have daughters that don't come downtown now. And it was perfect for them to pop into one place, walk down to the next, walk to the next, end up here, or this or that. And why don't you do that anymore? And their comment is, we don't like getting harassed. And we're dealing with 20-some-year-old girls, but if I owned a bar, it would bother me beyond belief. They would much rather go out to the places that aren't affected by that. And me personally, I'm very affected. We had people start our building on fire. We've had 3 occasions. The only person really happy is Todd Thompson, but they've thrown rocks through our windows to the tune of $23,000 on 3 different occasions. I'm a firm believer that, are they breaking a law? No, but they used to say if there's a broken window in a house, a kid will throw a rock through it because it's all right in this downtown or wherever. And, I don't know the answer. I'd like to get rid of the benches, but I do believe that to revitalize downtown, we need to minimize these occurrences. And even if it's one person that's not comfortable, that's a customer. And we need every customer we can in this town. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Tom, do you wish to speak or are you gonna, you've said your piece?
I was just trying to make a point that.
Okay, yep.
Homeless people didn't start yesterday.
Okay.
And you know that.
Anyone else wish to please? Lisa?
I'm Lisa Crosby, and I'm, like I said before, Heritage Center, which I have the shelter right behind the Heritage Center and the Art Center, which have one of the benches that is it talked about. And I think that the benches aren't the problem, just like probably every one of you think the same way. If it was the problem, obviously I think they should go, but we have a much bigger problem, and I don't know what the answer is, but I think that I like the idea of, you guys working on the task force and trying different things, but I think the benches should stay.
Okay,
That's my
thank you.
sense.
Anyone else wish to speak? On behalf of the city, as my personal opinion, I spent 4 years working at the Catholic Church, working early mornings, and I did see a lot of traffic going through the downtown. Some less than desirable, and they're sitting around ordering. But I do agree, we have an issue. I'm not a fan of getting rid of my personal feeling, and we're gonna have a discussion, but I think that this is just my feeling that I love the benches down there. I love the atmosphere of what we have done for the downtown community. And it's unfortunate, but I do hear what everybody has to say, and I do agree with almost everybody that has spoken. I mean, sometimes you see a huge crowd at one bench or sitting on the ground. We have recognized the problem. We do know we got an issue. And what is the solution? I don't have an idea either, other than when I was first told about it a while ago, when we got rid of one of the benches, it was right in front of the Lucky Nails. It was a situation that they were asking for money of all the ladies going in. They were scared. It was right in front of their door. Smoking was drifting into their building. It made sense to remove that one. I think we've removed one other one. I don't know that it's helped the problem. I did call on, at that time, it was Chief Kanowski. We want foot patrol, more police presence downtown. That's some of the reason what we're trying to do with this vote tomorrow is get our police department in the downtown area for more visibility. Will that help? It may not solve everything, but I believe it's going to be a big help. But I'm open to suggestions. I mean, we as commission, we want to do the right thing. But we don't want to punish those that would like to sit on them and not have to take them away. I mean, but if it's necessary, I guess we got to do it. But I don't know. We have to have some conversation on what is the right approach. But we definitely have heard the concerns, and I do agree. I have seen the people downtown, and you see it every morning, even in the winter. Not as much, but any commissioner have any added comments?
Yeah, I just want to say that with starting this task force, it was just to take the time to look into and listen to people about the problems that are going on downtown. Within this, we're looking at the homeless issue, the Section 8 apartments downtown, the mental health issues with these folks, and with the police patrol presence downtown and those benches and everything else. And it's all this big group of problems. All I'm asking is that we try to find a way to start to try and fix the problem. If it's worth taking a chance to move those benches out of there to see if it helps, along with increasing foot patrols downtown, with mobile patrols downtown. What things can we do and make a decision to try and help our business owners? Now, I understand these folks, they're homeless, and I feel for them, and I feel for the problems that are going on. But at the same time, I can't not feel for those that have put their lives, earnings into making a business to try and make a living and be vital downtown. And then I also ask that when you make your decisions on this, whatever it is, please to put your personal feelings aside and actually listen to what the people are saying. We were voted in by the people, and those that should take the time to show up and give their, whether for or against, that we take all of that into consideration as well, and not just our personal feelings on it. So that's all I ask is just, please, when you think about this, guys, just listen to what the people are saying and make your decision that way. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in here, and gals, I appreciate it. We do have to start somewhere. And if it means, in my opinion, if it means taking those picnic tables out of there to see if that takes down the loitering area, because I understand if you take it away from here, where do they go afterwards? But we can't just say nothing's going to work like we've been doing for 60 some years. There has to be a start somewhere. If that ain't the problem, put the damn benches back. But we got to take the chance to see where is this problem happening. And I just ask that we make an informed and intelligent decision. Thank you.
Commissioners, any further? Commissioner Kanowski, are you interested in an opinion?
My opinion, I think, has been voiced in the past, where I understand that the table present a problem with the people that reside down there. I understand that it's a front porch or whatever you're saying, but that doesn't mean that they need to be there later. But I think since those tables have been down there, I think it has increased some activity. We talk about the criminal nature. So I don't know if that in itself could speak volumes, but I know when I was chief, when we had more of a presence there, and I know now as Jason has continued that, has definitely helped. But like we've talked about in the past, it's not 1940 Germany where we just can't tell people to move along just because we're standing there. So I definitely have to find ways to get them to no longer be in that area, whether that's removing the table or, like you said, the loitering thing. But then we need an ordinance to kind of reinforce that. So I do like the way this is going. I will wait to make my decision when we have a better conversation.
Sure.
What has it helped when you move the one away from Lefty Nails? What has been the impact?
Have they moved to the other tables, or has there been?
You see them at all the other tables. I have seen them across the street. Like
So they just
Lisa,
moved.
they moved to a different location. Correct. They have. Commissioner, you
I'm
have?
just gonna say that the
Yeah, I
picnic tables are not the issue, and that's why I said it'd be nice if we could replace them. The problem we've got is much greater than that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sarah, referred to it.
Yeah.
But when you give them an opportunity to loiter,
Right.
that just creates issues. And, I understand it'd be very nice to have them there, but,
Yeah.
I walk by it 3 or 4 times a day, and most of the time, there's somebody sitting.
The hardest.
If we were to increase, I don't know, this is just way out thinking is, it's going to require a police presence more often, maybe. I don't know how that would burden things, but do you think that would make a bigger difference if they were, I don't know, we have no other options, I guess. We have to use our thoughts and come up with a plan that we could all agree with.
Why not have the police take their coffee there?
Well, I think they have done that. I mean, they have.
The hardest part about
Yeah. Well, I agree with what Dan said about the, good people attract good people. I like that idea. I mean, in fact, I was thinking one day to have coffee with the chief and discuss city business on one of those benches one day, just to, kind of occupy it for an hour or something like that. And if we use them more on our side, that's kind of a, good idea. And it's a good suggestion. It's one that, it's worth trying too. So I don't know.
the hardest part about all this is the fact that when I see the multiple problems, like you said, it's not just the picnic tables. We look at, the housing and the location of the homeless shelter, the problem with mental health. I'm sitting trying to say, okay, can we move the homeless shelter somewhere else? Then it gets into the thought of you can't put it near any residential district. You don't want to put it near any other businesses. So all these things keep adding up. The same with the benches. If you pull them up, they're going to move somewhere else. But why don't we start with something and, is who's going to make them happy that they're gone and who's going to be mad that they're gone. We need the community to be a part, of taking this city back and finding ways to help everything. And I know you can't help everything, but you got to have that mindset to try. And that's why I want to rely a lot on community members, the business owners, the professionals in the mental health field to all that's what we're trying to do is work together to try and fix it, or even just make it a little better and let it continue to grow. So, Mr. Mayor.
I have one question. Has anybody from the commission thought to visit with Spirit Lake about keeping their shelter open year round? Because that would help.
I've been thinking about calling them and doing that. But to be honest with you, any other time the city has reached out to the reservation, you get no response. So I don't know if that's, and maybe it's just a part of me being not vocal enough, but I feel it would be a waste of my time to even try it again. But I can.
Well, I think there's some staying in that old city center motel too. They've moved into there. Does anybody know anything about that?
If I can just kind of interject, I'm Christy Hollison and I do the PATH program. I took over when Sarah took her new position. And to answer your question, Mayor Mo, about people coming on the train, yes, we do have people coming on the train. And sometimes they come here just because they've looked on a map and they go, Devil's Lake, that sounds like a kind of a neat place to go. But then some do stay, some do move on. And then to piggyback off of the pit count, I was also involved with the pit count. And I mainly walked around downtown that evening. That's where and I didn't see anybody specifically sitting on the benches or at those tables during the time frame. And we were walking in the alleys and in downtown.
It's more during the day they do that than the evening.
Right. So, and I get that. And I've also been downtown during the day and have met with some of my people, at those benches. So, but yeah, just to kind of, we need we need to start somewhere, but, just to kind of piggyback. And then, we did have one of the volunteers that was walking with me, has reached out to several people out at Spirit Lake to see if they can get the shelter back open again. So there is that talk, but it's just not getting.
So as an example, Mr. Mayor, I know this is going long, but I was listening to my scanner the other day. They had an issue downtown. They pulled the car over. They ran checks on folks, and there were warrants for these individuals out at Spirit Lake. I called Spirit Lake, see if they wanted extradited out there. No, they didn't want to extradite them back out. And it's, to me, a sad thing to where it seems, I'm not saying it is, but it seems it's Devil's Lake's problem, not ours. And so we need to open some kind of a line of communication between our neighbors and us, but how do we do that if we can't get everybody to the table?
We have a problem, and we will work together to work on it. I don't have all the solutions right here, and I'm not going to say it, but we'll all talk about it, chat about it. And any suggestions you may have, please let us know. I mean, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear. And we want to fix it, but what is the right way to fix it? And I don't have that answer.
I've been approached for money walking downtown,
Yep.
just walking down there by myself, and it's an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
It really is.
We want to.
That money thing, that's been going on for years.
I think it's increased a lot more
but
routinely.
Well, I don't think we're going to act on anything tonight, but we hear you. We're going to have many discussions on it. This committee that's meeting, hopefully we're going to come up with the right solution, but when we do, we'll make sure that it goes out for notice, that when we make our decision, you're all aware of when we're going to do that. I mean, so you are understanding of how we come to the conclusions that we will. We want to do the right thing, but what is the right thing?
I thank you guys so much for coming out.
And
I
I-
appreciate, Todd, I appreciate you getting the word out, Shane. And thank you very much.
I think that'll end, unless somebody has something to add, we'll call it this end right now. So, and thank you for coming in, appreciate it. And we're not done with this subject. Hopefully we'll come up with a solution.
Thank you, Mr.
So thank you all for coming in this evening. Okay, we'll move on, citizen comment. Nothing at this time. We have an informational item, June 2025 financial reports online. And the last item, a motion to approve the payment of bills as listed.
Make a motion to pay the bills as listed.
Commissioner Pierce, Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Eulenkamp. President Mo.
Aye, motion carried. If there's no other business to come before us, meeting adjourned. Have safe travels, Chief.